G'day folks, welcome to an ACC Queensland weather up today, the 2nd of January 2023. My name's Chris Nitzo. This update brought to you by our major sponsor TownsvilleSheds.com. Check them out if you're in the market for a shed-safe accredited shed. Monsoon continues to crank up around the Cape. Lots of showers, lots of storms, lots of squalls, lots of everything going on up there. Lots of wind and very, very high tide. So at the moment the tides in Weipa are above what the highest tides of the year are because of the push of the wind on the water, pushing it onto that Western Cape. That's called a storm surge. All right, so further southwards, we've got lots of rain, some isolated thunderstorms embedded in this rainy mess here to the north of Mount Isa. Lots of shower activity on the North Tropical Coast, the Herbert coastline. We've seen some fantastic rainfall through there in the last 24 hours. Thanks to the Bureau of Meteorology, we can see some of those fantastic falls here in the Herbert region, up around Ingham, Gairloch there, particularly just to the north of Ingham, 109, Hawkins Creek, 110, just to the northwest of Ingham. Further northwards, we've had good falls just inland of the coastline, Scrubby Creek there with about 130 odd. We've also seen some fantastic falls through the Cape and Gulf Country. Currently, we've got a weak area of rotation out near Willis Island. That area of rotation is pushing eastwards very quickly. On the western side of the Cape, we've got big northwesterly flow, once again piling that water onto the Western Cape. We've got a monsoon trough that extends from northwest Queensland through the southern part of the Gulf Country and extends up through the Cairns district and out towards Willis Island. That's our monsoon trough in there. South of that, we've got southeasterly winds. North of that, we've got northwesterly winds. All happening up there in the north. Wow. All right, so as we progress through today, you can see southeasterly winds continue to be quite fresh to strong across parts of southeast, central east Queensland and southern northern Queensland. But those winds, where they ease right here in that Tully district, there is potential there for some significant rainfall on the northern edge of those southeasterlies and offshore on the southern edge of those northwesterlies. But you can clearly see there the monsoon trough creating a bit of rotational interest there out towards Willis Island. Now, as we progress through the nighttime hours, those southeasterlies are going to decrease significantly across southeast and central east Queensland. Still opportunity there for southeasterlies to continue around northeast Queensland, and we're watching for overnight, early morning, any potential development of rotation on the northern edge of that southeasterly that might enhance the rainfall once again in that Cairns to Ingham coastline. Longer term, we're watching a trough system come from here eastwards. That's going to drive showers and thunderstorms into southeast, central east Queensland at some stage on Wednesday, and a big southerly change coming up on Thursday, whacking them with some big storms down there in the southeast. Across North Queensland, we're going to see the potential for a weak low pressure system to form around the Gulf Country or northern inland Queensland. That very weak circulation is going to push eastwards, exit the coastline on Friday around northeast Queensland. You can see about an 80 to 90% chance of that happening. And then as we progress into Saturday and Sunday, that system will progress fast to the southeast away from the coastline. But in that period, while it's progressing through the inland parts into northern Queensland's coastal section before it intensifies while moving southeastwards, that little early period could help to enhance rain and wind across northeast Queensland. We'll keep an eye on that, let you know. Right, you can see the enhanced rainfall in that Ingham-Tully coastline over the next few hours. Quite a significant amount of rain also extending to the Cape for obvious reasons and through the Gulf Country. As we progress into this afternoon, this evening, we see these squally bands pushing southeastward, slowing down, and as they slow down, they dump a heap of rain. I was going to swear there. Heap of rain across northern inland Queensland. And then as we progress into the overnight period, we see more squall lines coming into the west coast. As I mentioned, overnight tonight, we're just watching this coastline here between Cairns and Tully for the potential, Cairns and Ingham, for the potential development of any sort of weak rotation near the coast, which could enhance that shower activity. And then once again tomorrow, carbon copy of today across far north Queensland. Notice also, I haven't mentioned it, but it is important to notice, is that there is going to be a little bit of isolated convection down in southwest Queensland, maybe an isolated shower in the central eastern hinterland regions today. And then as we go into tomorrow, you can see some more substantial convective activity down in the southern and central inland parts of the state in preparation for a couple of big storm days on Wednesday and Thursday down south. Rainfall between now and when we talk again. Some of this rain might have already fallen around that Ingham coastline, but once again, we're expecting to see locally heavy falls. Not everyone gets them because along the monsoon trough, everything slows down. So these big squall lines come through, and then they slow down as they approach the monsoon trough under the influence of weaker upper level winds. And so the idea is that while rainfall will be spread quite evenly here around the western parts and the central parts of the Cape, as we progress further southeastwards, it might become a little bit more patchy and also potentially a bit heavier. Local falls could be a little bit heavier in local patches, but by the same token, there will be some places that will miss out. Further south into the Gulf country, you can see some moderate to heavy falls. You can also see a lot of junk convection potential down here in the southern and central inland Queensland region and around southeast, central, eastern hinterland areas. We're not too interested in any of that stuff down there. It looks all pretty weak today. Certainly gets more interesting later on in the week. We've got a massive rain event unfolding and a wind event out there across the southwestern Kimberley. And we also go into way more detail on that North Queensland stuff as well. Join.ozcyclonechasers.com.au if you're interested in the nitty-gritty details of these weather systems. Have a wonderful day. Talk to you tomorrow.